Hello and welcome to UWS Sports News. I'm Stuart Reid.
And I'm Theo Antonoiu.
First up, Scotland Rugby have ended their autumn internationals with 2 wins out of 4. Andrew Scott can tell us more about how the Ayrshire contingent got on.
A rugby club had 4 players in the squad over the autumn internationals. I spoke to Callum Kerr, the media manager here at Milbury, about the player development and what it means to the club.
Great to have ex-players. It energises the youngsters around when you see players who are playing at Milbury now playing at the top level of the game. We've tried to establish that with a great youth section performing at the top level. So seeing players like Finn Russell, Gordy Reid, Mark Bennett, who's unfortunately injured, and Ali Price, those players going on to play for Scotland is really what our job is a provincial club like that. If we can get these players playing at the highest level, then that's us doing our job, and it's fantastic to see.
Frazier Clomo, Rugby Development Officer for the Ayr Rugby Community Trust. I think all the young players can certainly feed off players like myself and other Glasgow Warriors players we get coming to play for the club. They can sort of pick the brains about certain aspects of their game, and it's definitely a big help for them. For the last couple of seasons, Stafford's been one of the standouts in our backline. Playing with him, I can definitely see the progress he's made, especially this season. He's just developed into a really good midfield back, and the young players watching him on a Saturday, it gives them something to aspire to be.
With you looking to continue their dominance in the Scottish Rugby Club game, player development will be at the forefront of making their aims a reality. Andrew Scott, UWS News.
Now in tennis, Croatia defeated France at the weekend to win the Davis Cup. Our tennis correspondent Lewis Birrell joins us in the studio. So Lewis, was Croatia's victory over France something of an upset, or was it to be expected?
I don't think it was a major upset, but I think if you'd looked at the bookmakers' prices before it, France would definitely have been down as favourites. They do have the stronger squad overall, albeit Croatia had the most strong singles player in Marin Cilic, the world number 7. So that was probably the strongest player in the tie, to be honest. But then again, France had Nicolas Mahut and Pierre Hughes Herbert, who play week in, week out in the doubles circuit. So that was definitely an advantage that they had.
Mm-hmm. And is the Davis Cup something that means a lot to these players?
Well, I think in the past you've seen your sort of big guns, like say your Rafa Nadal, your Roger Federers, your Andy Murray's skipping early rounds of it, trying to focus on their fitness before major personal events throughout the year. But as you've seen with the likes of Andy Murray before, it can also be a big catalyst for them to go on and achieve major things if they win it. And I think you've seen over the last few years a lot of big players have really focused on trying to win it for their country, almost single-handedly.
Could a victory like this propel the Croatian players on to greater things next year?
I think it definitely could. Marin Cilic is one of these players who's always been on the cusp throughout his whole career. He has won a Grand Slam a couple of years ago at the US Open, but he'll be looking to maybe break into the top 5 or something next year, be up there in the semis and the finals of all the Grand Slams. Borna Koric as well, who played in the Croatian Davis Cup team there as a young up-and-coming player. Something like this, it's probably the equivalent of winning a Masters 1000 event, so it's a big win for him getting into the new year.
And more generally, how is the tennis landscape looking ahead of next year?
Well, it's looking really interesting because the last few months there you saw Novak Djokovic really coming back to form. He's going to go on, he's probably the best player in the world at the moment. Roger Federer, he had a kind of stuttery second part of the year there, age maybe catching up with him a little bit. And then of course Andy Murray makes his comeback, which we'll all be waiting eagerly to see as well. It hadn't gone quite as they'd hoped when he came back last year, but he'll be looking to really kick on and get back to his old self in the new year.
Lewis, thanks for joining us. Now to football, and the Scottish Cup 4th round draw took place on Saturday. We now hand you over to Chris MacMillan and Gregor Hynds to discuss this in more depth.
So thanks very much. The Scottish Cup 4th round draw was in last night, and I'm here with our football correspondent Gregor Hynds, and we've been having a look at this interesting draw. There's quite a few interesting fixtures, as I mentioned.
Well, I mean, what you're seeing is the usual you see in this round is a lot of mismatches, but potential for upsets, because a lot of the higher teams haven't been playing in the Cup. A lot of the lower teams now getting that momentum behind them because they've been getting these wins in the Cup. And it gives teams a chance to dream of something a bit more than just a glamour draw. Yeah,
I mean, it is a really exciting draw, and talking about glamour draws, first one up, Cowdenbeath hosting Rangers. I mean, that's a great tie for Cowdenbeath, isn't it?
It's huge for Cowdenbeath. I mean, obviously for any club, getting a team like Rangers who sell out away support, it's fantastic. I mean, you're looking at a team in the Blue Brazil who used to yo-yo between the Championship and League One, and right now they see themselves struggling a bit. But getting this stage and against the Rangers side who have struggled away from Ibrox, they might actually fancy their chances of causing an upset even if it's just getting a replay and then getting a chance to play at Ibrox. So it could be a good game. It could be very interesting.
As always the case, situations like that can be so financially beneficial for clubs like Cowdenbeath, and Rangers will take a good support down there as well. And obviously another very interesting tie thrown up, Jim Goodwin's Alloa Athletic going to St Mirren and a return to Paisley for Goodwin. That's a great draw as well, isn't it?
Well, I mean, for Jim, it's a chance to maybe show himself off a bit. You know, he's taken on the Premiership side. He's only just got himself into management. So for him, fantastic opportunity to show what he can do. I mean, this Alloa side, again, just like Cowdenbeath, been yo-yoing around a bit in one league, then getting relegated, then promoted again. So they're the kind of side that they can surprise teams. I mean, they surprised a lot of people getting promotion to the Championship last year.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put it past them, especially against a struggling St Mirren side who have really struggled even under new manager Kearney.
Exactly, they'll be looking at that tie, and they must be thinking they've got a chance. I mean, I know St Mirren got the first win at the weekend against Hearts. What a win for Kearney, he's first in charge. But surely Alloa have got to think that's a tie they might be able to get something from.
I think what St Mirren will take hope within is that they're at home. Their real struggles have been away. They've been getting destroyed away from home. I mean, you're talking about Hearts, but last time they played Hearts before that, they were thumped 4-1, if you want to phrase it like that. I mean, it wasn't even a contest. So for them, they have that sort of solace in being at home, and they should get through it. But like I said before, this Alloa side are just born to cause upsets.
Yeah, they are. And another very interesting draw, especially with a giant killing element to it, is junior side Auchinleck Talbot hosting high-flying Ayr United from the Championship. And our reporter Fraser Clark went along to Auchinleck today to see and get a feel around the place before the game.
Having already taken trips to Cove, Fraserburgh and Wick, it's finally home sweet home for Auchinleck Talbot as they prepare to welcome Ayr United here to Beechwood.
The out with the Old Firm and possibly Kilmarnock, that's the best draw we could have got at home, because if you possibly meeting a bigger club like Rangers or Celtic or whatnot, they would have made his move. So for us to play at the ground, I think that's just about as good a draw as we could have got.
This year we've travelled, that's only 3 draws we've had, and we've travelled about 1,500 miles, and that's a lot for a junior team. It's a lot of money when you're talking about roughly £1,000 for a bus fare itself.
Well, you can't beat it. You can't beat it, mate. That's what football's all about. It's our Champions League. We're never going to win the Scottish Senior Cup, but just to get as far as we can. That's what it's all about. Tynecastle was one of the best days in our history. So it was. You go there and you say, oh, listen, we're going to get beat 5-6-0 anyway, and you go there and then you end up getting beat 1-0, and you're devastated at the end of the game just because you've lost with that one goal because you were expecting a doing. But to bring Ayr United here, that's really special, so it is.
It's going to be very, very difficult, but it'll not be easy for Ayr because we're good here and we're hard to beat. So, and we need to be at the top of their game, but Talbot's capable. We've showed that. We'll beat the best teams in the Highland League, so it's going to be hard. But Ayr will look at this fixture and say, we could have got harder. We could have got a harder tie, and we're looking at it and saying we could have got a harder tie as well. So to me, everybody's a winner. But I would say it was up there. It was up there definitely. But the thing is, it's at Beechwood, and we don't need to travel. So that I would say this is the biggest game in our history at Beechwood Park.
You can find out how Talbot get on when Ayr United visit Beechwood on the weekend of January the 19th and 20th next year.
So thanks very much to our reporter Fraser Clark there at Auchinleck Talbot. Good luck to them in the 4th round. And to conclude the second half of the draw, we were looking at some of the fixtures. Another interesting one with a possible giant killing element, Gregor. Aberdeen, Stenhousemuir.
Well, people say this is a bit weird to talk about, but until McInnes came in, Aberdeen's biggest problem was in the Cups. They struggled against lower opposition, and it's not just away from home. It would be at Batology. They were losing on pens to Raith Rovers, losing to Queen herself in the Scottish Cup semi-final. For Aberdeen, while you'd assume they'd go through, they've been really in different form this year. Once they start getting a bit of momentum, they then get a big loss on them. So Stenhousemuir, again, aside, may struggle at Batology, but they'll fancy their chances going to a team like Aberdeen who historically have struggled in this competition.
It's absolutely shaping up to be a fantastic Scottish Cup already. Some absolutely cracking fixtures in there. So thanks very much to Gregor for our little preview of the rounds, which will be played on the weekend of the 19th of January.
Thanks, guys. That's all from us at UWS Sports News. I'm Theo Antonoiu.
And I'm Stuart Reid.
Thanks for watching.